Good morning. I'm Jasmine Anderson. It's back to court today for a former fundraiser for indicted Long Island Congressman George Santos. Sam Mealy is expected in Central Islip today. He is facing federal charges accused of impersonating a high-ranking congressional aide while soliciting contributions for Santos's campaign. Santos is not charged in this indictment, but is facing multiple other charges, including money laundering. A Searingtown family was able to escape a fast-moving fire. Flames ripped through this home on Piper Drive just after midnight. The 8 people who live inside got out safely. Officials say the fire started in an air conditioning unit in the wall on the 2nd floor. A 16-year-old has been sentenced in a deadly shooting. Ramon Lyons of Huntington Station was given 12 years to life in prison yesterday for killing Luis Cameron Rimmer Hernandez in 2021. The victim's mother believes the punishment threatens the community's safety.
We have a lifelong sentence of heartache and pain and grief. And he has a sentence of 12 years to life. Telling any juvenile that's 14 that it's okay to go and execute somebody for no reason, and you won't even get the maximum sentence.
Lyons was 14 years old at the time of the shooting. A Freeport man will spend the next 23 years in prison for gunning down an aspiring rapper from Long Beach. Eric Baldwin was sentenced yesterday. He and another man pleaded guilty in September to being part of the group that robbed and killed James Diamond 2 years ago. 5 volunteer firefighters from Nassau were just honored for helping with Israel's emergency response. The event was yesterday. The firefighters recently returned from taking part in the Israel-based Emergency Volunteers Project. Here's one local firefighter describing the cause he went on.
Mostly from rockets and bomb attack, hitting buildings, fragments. I work in Lawrence, Cedarhurst, which is how I found out about the war and all this stuff. It was pretty much it's a life-changing event for me. It was anyone would have done it, I think. For me, it meant I had to go, being that my employers are Jewish.
At least 2 of the firefighters plan to go back to Israel on a future deployment. Lost in space, a Long Islander and her fellow astronaut misplaced a $100,000 tool bag during a spacewalk. It happened 2 weeks ago when Baldwin's Jasmine Mogbelli and Laurel O'Hara were performing maintenance on the International Space Station. NASA says the bag is now orbiting the Earth and can be seen with a telescope or a good pair of binoculars. It's expected to eventually disintegrate. First in Newsday, Long Island will get around half of its energy from offshore wind resources by 2030. That's according to a new power resource analysis by LIPA and a PSEG. It also found customers will pay around 2% more a year in their power supply charge as more green energy makes its way onto local and state grids. Read more about wind power on Long Island on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the NewsdayTV video box. High-end kitchenware chain Williams-Sonoma will join Whole Foods in Huntington Station. They are among several retailers opening new stores next year in the Huntington Shopping Center. The property is currently undergoing a $75 million redevelopment. A Monday Night Football stunner. The Broncos and Bills came down to the wire.
Good snap, good hold, kick, perfect. And the Broncos have come to Buffalo, and they're going to leave with a win.
The game-winning field goal as time expired came after Denver missed the first attempt, but Buffalo was flagged for having too many men on the field. The Bills are now 5-5. The Beatles are back on the Billboard Hot 100 chart.
And now and then, if we must start again.
Now and Then debuted at number 7 on the chart, the Fab Four's 35th top 10. It extends their record for the most among groups and their first since 1996. The song is billed as the final Beatles song. Checking out your hyper-local forecast, a chilly start this Tuesday. It is going to be mostly sunny today, highs around 51 degrees. Tonight, lows in the 30s, so dress warm. And tomorrow, partly cloudy, highs around 51 degrees. A look at your 7-day forecast coming up.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Home Tax Saver, PTRC Incorporated. High School Sports is sponsored by PC Richard & Son.
I'm Carissa Kelman. The championship matchups are set in high school football. We begin with Bayport Blue Point hosting Mount Sinai in Suffolk's Division 4. Bayport Blue Point quarterback Macklin Kaiser led his team to a big win. He completed 4 of 7 passes for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns, including this one to Trey Tomasone. Kaiser also rushed for 125 yards and 2 scores. The Mustangs did get on the board late with this 4th quarter rushing touchdown, but Bayport Blue Point took this one 35-7.
All season we ground and pound, not running the ball as much, but I thought this game we opened up our playbook a lot more. A lot of teams didn't see us pass the ball at all. So, I mean, I think it opened up our playbook a lot more, passing the ball.
In Suffolk's Division 3 semifinal playoff, I was there as Kyle Messina starred on both sides of the ball to help Sayville beat Half Hollow Hills West. Sayville wasted no time scoring on the opening possession when running back Kyle Messina used this 2-yard run to get the Golden Flashes on the board. Hills West wanted to answer, but when a 4th and 10 pass fell incomplete, Sayville takes over at the Colts 25. 5 plays later, it's Messina again barreling into the end zone to make it 14-0. This time, the Colts will convert. Velarde finds Anthony Rayo for a 60-yard touchdown pass on 4th and 5. Rayo sprints past the secondary to make it 14-7 with 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Sayville then extends its lead with this short Jake Triptree rush. But shutting down Velarde and crew is a tall task, and Michael Red won't let this one get away. Velarde finishes off this drive with this touchdown run to make it a 1-score game. Messina scores his 3rd touchdown to make it 28-14. The Golden Flashes then threaten to extend the lead when Triptree rushes 25 yards to the Colts 2, but Velarde strips the ball from his grip for a critical turnover with 2 minutes left in the half. And then you're going to want to watch this a few times. Velarde, throwing from his own end zone, fires a pass to Rayo, but the ball goes out of his hands and into the hands of defensive back Luke Hansen for a 2-yard pick 6 and a 35-14 halftime lead. Velarde opens the 3rd quarter with a 67-yard touchdown pass to Rayo, but Sayville QB Jake Triptree has time for his own moves in the pocket. This final strike will widen the gap to 42-21. Velarde scores one last touchdown and breaks his final record of the season, finishing with 44 touchdown passes, the most of a Long Island quarterback in a season.
We only have 3 seniors on defense, so it is a lot of young guys. Very fast defense, which helps against fast teams.
I feel like we could do anything with this group of kids if we just stick together and play team defense.
Top-seeded Sayville, the defending Division 3 champs, who are also undefeated, will meet East Islip in the final at Stony Brook University Friday. For more on these teams and more exclusive local sports stories, go to Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Today, we're touring the living shoreline at Patchogu's Shorefront Park. Steve Langford has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
I grew up 2 blocks from here.
Village of Patchogue Mayor Paul Pontieri likes what he sees here at the recently completed Shoreline Improvement Project.
Is there more flooding now than when you grew up here?
I don't ever remember flooding when I grew up. Not to the degree that I've seen over my years in office.
To deal with the flooding and to improve water quality, they replaced the old bulkhead here with a rock wall and added a bioretention basin.
All these plantings were put here to filter the water.
It's not just Superstorm Sandy that changed things here. The mayor recalls heavy rains and flooding here by Shorefront Park last December, when it all froze a day later, just ahead of a big night at Lombardi's by the Bay.
He had 600 people coming for Christmas Eve, did it, and they were frozen in. We came down, we salted, we cleaned it up for them, but it was because the water had nowhere to go.
This was a $5 million project, half paid by the state, half paid by a private foundation. They've upgraded the path here, raised the level of the park, and added benches and landscaping.
I love it. It improves it, and it saves the shoreline. And unfortunately, it won't stop the flooding during a storm. Nothing will here. We live on Long Island.
This March will mark the mayor's 20th year in office here. This shorefront project, he says, is special.
It's a message to other people in other communities that you can make a difference.
Steve Langford for NewsdayTV.
Read more about living shorelines on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the NewsdayTV video box. Splatter paint parties are sweeping the island. Elisa DiStefano has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
It's wearable art, splattered clothing.
You could be creative with color with your article of clothing. You could add metallics. It really is a fun process.
Eileen Sharon creates her splattered clothing outside her West Babylon home and hosts splatter paint parties.
Hey, we're having our own DIY party out here, so how do we begin?
Okay, so you're gonna pick your colors that you want and we're gonna put them on the board. And I'm always gonna start you off with white and glitter.
So you never have too much glitter.
Yeah, that's a great.
Pink?
Do you like a purple?
Yeah. Ooh, that's
a good one. All right, you're gonna use aggression. There's no right, there's no wrong.
Stand back. Don't come between my pipette and my masterpiece over here.
Eileen can help you make your own, or if you don't want to get messy, purchase the unique pieces Eileen creates for customers of her brand Noboto.
Listen, you just created wearable art.
I did! I love it!
It's just fun, and the overall outcome is you're saving the planet, you're teaching people about reducing fast fashion, saving money, upcycling, recycling, and just being themselves.
Elisa DiStefano, Newsday TV.
Very nice. Read more about these splatter trends on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Working in journalism, I think you experience the world in a really different way than people in other professions do. I find it very satisfying to learn about things and get to tell other people about them.
Newsday, covering Long Island like no one else can.
I'm Jasmine Anderson. Thank you so much for watching. We'll leave you with a look at your hyper-local 7-day forecast.